My interest in history predated my interest in wood, but it was when the two came together, by accident, really, that I realized, wow, I'm onto something, because I love history, I love telling stories, and I love making things with my hands. Why not try a unique way of telling or retelling history? And it's not just history writ large, it's also personal stories. I mean, that's really what started. It was families approaching me and saying, we lost this tree, and we love this tree, could you make something for me out of it? The preparation, though, to do a piece really starts with the chainsaw out in a wooded area or the fields. And of course, all wood needs to be dried, so really the first phase is rough turning it and then coming back to it later. So in that sense, it takes months. But the actual turning of a finished piece it's not a long process, and things happen pretty fast. It's important to me to see past flaws or what other people might consider to be deficiencies somehow. And in fact, sometimes I like to highlight those things. Flaws, I think, often contribute to the beauty and complexity of both a person and a tree, a piece of wood. I use only local hardwoods that I've harvested myself. With all these trees around us and all this downed wood and available wood, there must be beauty here that we're just not seeing. And I love finding a tree that people don't often associate with beautiful turnings. Hackberry, linden, beautiful trees, but the wood isn't necessarily considered gorgeous. I like to find that one crotch piece or that odd piece and try to get something out of that. And frankly, sometimes there's a piece of wood that just isn't that character-laden, but its provenance makes it interesting. So I have a piece from, say, Mount Vernon. A pecan was taken down in Mount Vernon. The one piece I did, it was all sapwood, so it's not this beautiful colored wood, so I made a more interesting shape out of it. So I let the wood do the talking, but sometimes I have to make it a little more interesting. I think that I've always known that I had to be involved in something creative, but I really stumbled on the wood thing by accident. I was making maple syrup at the time, local maple syrup, and branches kept falling from the maple trees, and I was so intrigued by the wood I started to carve on it, whittle on it, and made walking sticks, things like that. And then one day out of the blue, I don't know why, but I bought a lathe through the mail. And I turned it on, started making mistakes, and I was hooked. I call it the sickness. I had the sickness. And that was about 8 years ago. And it's been no looking back ever since. When I think about the future, when I think about where this might be going, I realize I found my home. I found what I believe I was meant to do. Very optimistic about the future because I think I found a kind of unique way of expressing or telling that history. And where does that end? I mean, it just next connection, and I don't know where I'll be in 10 years, but I'm pretty certain I'll be turning wood from some interesting place and trying to tell the story about it.